Hello, Sandman Nation. We are back and we have a special guest with us this week who I will introduce in just a moment. We had an incredible weekend in Cincinnati to celebrate our Nailed It contest from the fall, and we will spill all or most of the beans from this past weekend, but it was definitely a fun one. So let's get into it because it is time to enter Sandman Sports. As always, I'm here with Pat Klett, one hell of a podcast host, and apparently my new best friend. We drank together, we laughed together, we almost vomited together. It was a bonding weekend for the ages. Love you, sir. Great having you in Cincinnati. And of course, the legend himself, Mr. Bill Sanders, the Sandman. Bill has had to deal with me the past 2 weekends, man. Are you tired of me yet, dude?
Yeah, I thought we were best friends now.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're close.
Right.
We're close.
Second place.
By the way, how many times were we told this weekend that you and I look like brothers? It was a lot.
I'm the younger brother.
You are the
That's
younger
what the guy
brother.
said
Yeah,
at the club.
I mean, I feel bad for you every time they say that, man. That is an insult to you. You are way better looking than me, man. Way better looking. And then there is a guy I am so freaking excited to have on today's show. In fact, guys, this is kind of a historic moment because we are in episode 38, and this is the first time ever that we will have a fourth host for the entirety of the podcast. Technically, our chief research officer, Mackenzie, came on as the fourth a couple months ago, but that was just for the top 5. Today, we have longtime Sandman Nation member Mike Paston with us, and he is getting ready for some punishment because he has agreed to be here the whole show. So, Mike, welcome to the pod, buddy. How you doing?
Doing great. Thrilled to be here. I assumed I was on because I'm the only one who remembers the weekend.
that is probably true. Now, was this your first time in Cincinnati, or had you been here before?
No, I've been there. I was once there for opening day when I drove down from Indianapolis from the Final Four.
Okay.
And another time I was at the Final Four, I drove through.
So when you were at the Final Four in Indy, was that back in 2010 by any chance?
I think so. I've been to 3 or 4 there. So
okay.
Most of them, yeah.
Because I do remember me and my buddy Keith, we went to the Final Four in Indy in 2010, and it was opening day at the Red Stadium that day too, because we went to both. I remember. So.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. So man, how long? Give our listeners just a quick rundown of your history with Sandman. You've been doing this a long time.
Long time. It's got to be 15, 20 years, maybe, if that's possible. My friend Mike
absolutely
referred me. So.
I've been doing it, almost 20, and I remember your name at the top of those leaderboards from almost the beginning. So it's been a long time. Any pools? Do you play all the pools, or most of them, or any?
Almost all the pools.
Okay.
Probably 97% of them.
97%. Okay.
Every year for football, I go through
man.
a list. I'm going to pick and choose, not do everyone, and I end up doing everyone every time. So, yeah.
So we've all talked about this. So my favorite pool of all of them, there's mine. I love the high roller pool in the fall every year. I know Bill loves the guts pool, which I also love. I forget which one, Pat. Are you the
Ben Harper? I'm the Ben Harper.
You're Ben Harper.
Yeah.
Yes, Ben Harper. So Mike, do you have a favorite pool?
I like those. Any of the ones where there's a layer of strategy involved in trying to figure out what the other guys are going to do. I really like betting with, the Ben Harper types with a certain amount of bankroll are always fun. So, they're all different. They're all great.
They are.
The people in there, and it's a lot of fun. It makes me more engaged with all the games.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, welcome, Mike. So great to have you here. And boys, let's get into this. But before we do, let's tell everyone where our listeners can find us. You can find us everywhere, just like Captain Morgan and Pat's Glass this past weekend. Holy moly, that guy can drink. You still hungover, brother?
No, but I haven't had anything since. I'm a weekend drinker. I don't drink during the week generally. But thanks.
You brought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And with OJ.
That
was a new one.
It's a great starter. It's my new Bloody Marys. I'm not a Bloody Mary guy anymore.
Yeah.
It's Captain Morgan OJ.
Yep. Yeah. I told him I didn't have any OJ, and he was like, Dude, he started shaking. He's like, dude, I have to have OJ and Captain Morgan.
Yep.
Go to the store.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Oh, man. All right. Well, one thing that you will get drunk on with us is knowledge and fun at our incredible website at entersandmansports.com. So be sure to check us out daily. We drop new content all the time, articles, videos, and more. This week alone, we've added coverage on the NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, guys. Our very first article published on that topic this week. Bierman's six packs, Sandman's golf crushing fades. We just published that one a few hours ago. These podcasts, and coming very soon is Tyler Hedman's way too early ranking of the top 25 in college football. So can't wait to get that up and published here soon. If you want to follow us at other places you're in luck too, you can follow us at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Enter Sandman Sports. Oh, and TikTok too. And TikTok at Enter Sandman Sports. One other quick reminder, I mentioned it last week too, but especially as college semesters wrap up and final exams are near, we continue to look for talented contributors to the Sandman team. We have paid opportunities, guys, so maybe you know a college journalism student or maybe just someone who knows sports, has opinions, and likes to write as a hobby. Either way, send them our way, info at entersandmansports.com. All right, guys, let's get in the opening. 4 of us spent the weekend together in Cincinnati. We had an awesome time. For those of our listeners who may not remember, this stems from our Nailed It competition that started way back in episode 3. We placed a bet between the 3 of us co-hosts that whoever won, the other 2 would need to travel to that person's city and take them out to a nice fancy dinner, and we would build a sports weekend around it. A few weeks later, we decided to open up a listener segment too, where each week we had people fight for eligibility. That all culminated with a supersized Super Bowl edition of Nailed It, and the winner of that got to come to Cincinnati, and the winner was our very own Mike Paston. Now, Mike, you barely squeaked in, right? You won the last eligible one before the Super Bowl.
I did. Yes.
And your son had already won one. He was already in. Was he giving you shit? Was he talking fast?
He won the first week.
He won the first week.
I was cheering for him, waiting for the finals, and then look at that. We're both in there. And the old Pops,
and then you beat him.
Pulled it out. Yeah.
And then you beat. And was it close? Do you remember in the Super Bowl? Was there somebody on your heels in second place? I can't remember.
Half a point or so behind.
Half a point. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I had my faith in the Eagles, and all my picks were skewed that way. And
what a Super Bowl for you, man! Your beloved Eagles win, and you win the Nailed It trip. There you go.
Exactly. Nailed it. Most important. Eagles Super Bowl right behind.
I don't believe you, but I love that you said that. Awesome.
And Pat and Eric were so happy as well because Kansas City lost.
Yeah,
so,
that is true. That is true.
All the way around. What a night!
It was a wonderful Super Bowl. All right, so this past weekend we started Friday afternoon. Me, Bill, and Pat got some drinks near the stadium at a cool bar called the Holy Grail. Mike finally made it. Mike, you like sitting on the tarmac, huh? That must have been fun.
It was just great. And a lightning storm in Cincinnati, yeah.
Like what was it, like 100 yards from the gate, you said, or something?
Yeah, we were at the gate. They just couldn't connect.
They just couldn't open it. Oh, God.
Yeah. 2 hours.
Well, oh, my God. There was nothing worse than just sitting on a plane where you can see the frickin' terminal right there.
Yeah.
That sucks. But Mike finally made it. We had a rain delay at the game, so we weren't even late to the game, and we enjoyed the game. Called it a night. Saturday was relatively low-key, but then we went to a Kentucky Derby party at my club on Saturday night, then to an awesome steakhouse for a great meal. Mike left early Sunday, but the 3 of us then had a local Cincinnati tradition, Skyline Chili, for lunch. So, guys, that's enough of a setup. I want to hear from you now. How was the weekend? What were your favorite memories? Any stories you want to tell? Anything you wish we would have done? We'll start off with Pat, then we'll go to Bill, then we'll go to Mike. So we'll let Pat set a good example for our guest today.
Great. Well, first of all, I want to thank the Biermans for taking me in off the streets and for the weekend. Very chill.
Lauren had kicked him out.
Yeah. Loved the baseball game. That was a lot of fun, and the pregame was great. Saturday was super relaxing, which was nice. I didn't have to get up and go. We took it easy and sat in Mac's favorite chair all morning, which was great.
You did, yeah.
With Finley curled up at my feet.
Dude, she must really like you. She must really like you because if anyone else in our family was sitting there, she would have yanked them.
Mac or Finley?
No, Mac. No, Mac.
Yeah.
Mac. She must really. Well, I think Finley really liked you too, but
Yeah.
that was only because you let her sit on you with that blanket that she loves. So.
Yeah, well, it was great. I felt like I was at home. It was very cozy.
Yeah, good,
and then
good.
I also noticed Jamie does most of the cleaning and the laundry, and she was buzzing around the house all day. So, Eric, maybe you should probably pull some of your weight.
Hey, you shut your mouth, Mr. Clay. You shut your
But
mouth.
she
right
made
now.
sure our stay was top notch. So, thank you to her. The
Yes.
derby party was cool.
She
Dinner
never
was
listens
great.
to this, so she's not gonna.
Oh, that's good.
She won't know. You might.
Neither does my wife.
This
She's
could
like,
be her first one.
yeah.
You should tell her.
But anyway,
It's
I
catching on.
obviously I paid for it the next day when we went to Skyline Chili, and I could barely slurp down one of those. But I did like it. I thought it was good, and it was a great time, great people, and so nice to be invited to Mac's birthday dinner as well. So it was a good time, and I wouldn't have changed a thing. So
a December birthday celebration in May. That was fantastic.
Bill, what about you?
Oh man, I gotta echo similar to Pat. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Mac. Just you guys are great hosts. This is my third time now in Cincinnati. Every time it's just awesome. That bedroom downstairs, you cannot beat that thing either. I mean, it is dark, it's cold, and the bed is comfortable. I mean, I slept like a rock. It was fantastic. My favorite part, I think, was actually, this is no shade at Mike at all, but when we were at the Holy Grail, and we were just sitting there, three dudes grabbing drinks, thunderstorms rolling over forever. But we just did sports trivia. Eric came up with it. He was like, "Hey, let's see if you can name the top 10 players in the Seahawks Ring of Honor, or the Bengals, or the Vikings." And how long were we there?
Dude,
3 or 4 hours?
We were there a long time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But
It
that's
was
usually how these weekends work, where you're super charged up right away and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. And it's usually the beginning that's always the best, and you're anticipating everything. And then by Sunday, I was like, well, I got nothing else to say. I'm done. So.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it was just, I mean, Pat mentioned it as well. It was just so fun to just chill and sit there. I mean, and really have nothing to do, and, sports on the TV and comfortable couch. And that's right. We watched Draft Day, my first time watching Draft Day. And then the other thing that I was just going to shout out, the Reds game was really fun. Eric got us great seats. We avoided the weather while we were in there, which was great. Pat almost caught a foul ball, like fingertips.
The lights were in my eye and the wind, and then
it was close. It was so close. But I was just going to shout out one other thing that I always find to be so fascinating, is that when you travel to other cities, it always seems like there's some connection back home. I don't know how that always happens, but Pat strikes up a conversation with these two people sitting behind us at the Reds game. They were from Minnesota. And the youngster, 20 years old, I think he said, he actually coached, or maybe, no, when he was 20, I think he said he was doing this or something, but he was coaching minor league baseball just north of Seattle in Everett with the Aqua Sox. And so I think, was it a mom and a son, Pat? I'm pretty sure. I think. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, she'd spent time in Bellingham, which is just north of Seattle here in Washington State. And I just found it to be such a small world, cool thing. Pat was throwing out all this stuff about Minnesota, and they were a really, really nice, two very nice people. Anyway, just, it's so fun to be around sports like that. Just nice people, having a great time at a ball game. Just awesome. So what a great weekend. Congrats again to Mike for winning our first competition and being such a good sport, putting up with us three.
Well, he may not want to try it. He may not participate next
he might mail it in.
You know what?
He's like, I'm throwing it. Someone else can win.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Well,
nice.
good.
I love it. I love it
to have you, man. So give us your take on the weekend, Mike.
All right. The comfort level from the first minute was fabulous. I mean, I know you guys a little bit from texts and emails and entering pools. Just from the first second, I mean, it's like I've known you forever. And
that is true. We had never met, and I literally never thought of that until right now.
I met Bill
seems
once.
so easy. Yeah, you guys. Yeah.
Actually, 3 years ago tomorrow, we went to Phillies.
I think Bill said it was last year.
No.
I thought you
didn't
said
say
it was.
that.
Oh, I thought
No,
you did.
3
no, I
years
didn't say that.
ago.
Oh,
It
okay.
came up in my
Yeah,
memory
no,
stream. No, yeah, 3 years ago.
that's
And
awesome.
Pat, I know from watching this, and that's it. But from the first second, the comfort level was great. And I appreciate that and the hospitality. The most shocking moment was when I learned at dinner that I had married Pat somewhere in the last 24 hours. I didn't, no idea what happened there, but hey, I mean, there's a
Hey,
reason I
hey.
don't know if you noticed, I always sat with him to my right because I can't see out the radar.
Yeah.
It was a strategic decision I made about 5 minutes in at the ball game. You go in, Pat.
Yeah.
I'll sit next to you over here. 'Cause, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
That's right. We
so
got see no
Smart
evil,
I
man.
hear
had
no
to,
evil out there
Yeah, I was gonna
with
say.
Eric.
Yeah.
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 And it's not true that this was from one of your fumbled foul balls attempts.
Yeah.
I had it. It'll go away. I'll be fine.
So it was the
But
wind.
a little more serious, and I realized something I didn't know. I always thought the whole country hated Philadelphia fans and Philadelphia teams. And I found out over and over again that AFC fans actually like us and like the Eagles because we beat both the Patriots and the Chiefs over the last few years in the Super Bowl. And people were complimentary. Even when I went to Chicago on Sunday, people were complimentary of the Eagles and the team they put together and the quality of the players.
That's to your
Back in the
face.
day,
That was to your face, Mike.
yeah,
Behind your back.
people my age, we had the Broad Street Bullies in hockey. We threw snowballs at Santa Claus. They actually had a courtroom and a prison in Veterans Stadium for the Eagles games. They didn't waste time. They just bring people down there, process them, put them in jail. So we were a little edgy, right? You wore a Giants jersey or a Cowboys jersey. Things always didn't go well. But if you're my age, it's hard to comprehend that we're not that bad to the rest of the country. People in Cincinnati, a guy on the plane going home, the most diehard Bengals fan I've ever seen, but he's just like couldn't say enough good things about the Eagles. So it was a change of what my expectation was. No, we weren't in Dallas. I get it. It might have been different.
It would have been different.
Realize
Dallas,
that,
yeah.
and it's pretty neat and very hospitable. Thank you to you and your family for hosting. It was really a lot of fun.
It was so great to have all of you. But you just made me think of something, Mike. We talk a lot about sports, obviously. We talk about movies. We talk about sports movies. One movie we've never really talked about, and I want your take on it. It's Invincible, about Vince Pasquale with the Eagles. Yeah, or Papali. What did I say? Pasquale.
Yeah.
I think that's a pizza. I think that's a pizza place near my place. Vince Papali, yes. So do you like that movie? Like,
it's been a long time since I've seen it, but one of those good inspirational type Hoosier movies where the underdog wins. And but
do
true
you
story.
Remember when Vince Papali was playing?
I think so, but I can't be sure. It was a long time ago. He's around. He does speeches. He does events still. He's made a whole life out of that.
I'm guessing he does not look quite like Mark Wahlberg.
He's aged a little bit. Yeah, aged a little bit.
Awesome. Well, yeah, guys, for me, you hit on a lot of the highlights. It's funny, Bill. Maybe we are best friends again. I enjoyed hanging out Friday at the Holy Grail playing our sports trivia. That was just so fun. It was cool that the storm was coming in, and I don't know. It was a lot of fun doing that. So I did really enjoy the Kentucky Derby party and us buying Sandman, guys. We bought Sandman, even though it was a big fat fizzle. Having him, it did not pay off, but it was still fun. The dinner was amazing. I loved being in a bathtub with the three of you. Yeah, that was funky and nice. You guys can check out the pictures there. I will say, I think Mike wanted to kill himself on Saturday afternoon when we tried to teach him how to play the game Mexican Train. That was not your favorite, was it, Mike?
It really wasn't. No, it really wasn't.
He
played one
round.
Mike played one round. He's like, yeah, I'm done. Bill, you want to take over? I'm done.
At 150 points. I was still counting, and they were getting the next round going. I had no idea what was going on. No idea.
And then seeing Pat on Sunday going from looking like that he was going to throw up at any minute to then wanting to drink just to keep the hair of the dog going, that was just fantastic, man. You were so hungover. But the Skyline helped you, didn't it, buddy?
I did. I was able to, it was great. I would like to have a go at it on if I was hungry and ready to eat. Because it was good. I thought it was good.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was better
you
this
liked
time.
it. So,
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, seriously, it was such
I'll
a.
say, Eric and
Yeah.
Bill, this isn't the first time the party peaked right before I got there. Just saying. You get used to stuff like that.
Well
It was
played.
no shade. It was
Well
no
said.
shade. We would
Yeah.
have had so much fun throwing Philly into the mix
You
for
never
the
know.
whole deal too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'll go with that. Sure. Yeah.
hmm
It was such a fun weekend, guys. Really enjoyed it. We already have a plan for an even bigger, better nailed it location for next year. So stay tuned as we get closer to
Seattle.
football season. No. It'll be another great contest, and Mike Paston might win it again next year. So
My bag's by the door.
we
I'm ready.
shall see. All right, boys. Well, let's get into this week's episode. Normally, here I say, as always, we'll start with headlines from the past weekend. But guess what, guys? We are changing it up this week after 38 episodes. What the hell? Let's live a little bit. So for now, I'll just say we'll start with the mystery topic. Then we'll get into our hot takes and reflections. Then it's our Stone Cold Locks. This week it's all about the Truest Championship. Then it's our top 5, which our very own special guest Mike Paston selected. So we'll keep the mystery going there too. And of course, we'll have plenty of fun and shenanigans along the way, including Pat sharing his regret over getting that lap dance this past weekend. But hey, the charms of Mona Lott and Ivana Tinkle were just too much to resist. I'm sorry to call you out, buddy, but I did warn you. The place is literally called Booby Tuesdays. I don't know what to tell you, man. All right, well, normally we would get into headlines here, but like I said, we are going to scrap that segment today. We're going to see how this goes. We had a lot of love last week from our rankings of the 5 best and worst helmets in the NFL, and you guys trying to guess. So I thought it might be fun to try a new segment today called, wait for it, Be My Guest. That's right. We're starting a new segment on today's episode number 38, called Be My Guest. So I'm going to give a topic here, and then you guys are going to try and guess what I ask you to. So this week's topic is all about Major League Baseball. All right, let me set this one up. So the Colorado Rockies are just terrible. They started the season horrendously. They're well on their way to securing another 100-loss season, which they did last season, along with the White Sox and Marlins. The A's and Royals both lost 100 games back in 2023, so 2 years ago. But here's what I want to know from you. There are 5 teams that have not lost 100 or more games in 60 or more years. So going back to the early 60s or earlier, there are 5 teams that have not lost 100 or more games. I want to know if you can name those 5 teams. So we're going to alternate. We're going to actually let our guest, Mike Paston, go first. Then we'll go Beauty after that, so Bill, and then we'll finish with Pat. So 1 point for getting it right. If you get one of the top 5 or one of the 5, then you get a point. 2 points if you get the number 1. Okay, so in this case, the team that's gone the longest without 100. And I'm going to just tell you right now, there is one team that has never lost 100 games. Okay?
Don't steal my pick, Mike. Don't steal my pick.
All right.
All right, so Mike, go ahead, buddy. What's your first guess?
I'm going Yankees.
Nice
The
job.
New York Yankees, 1912 was the last time.
That was my guess.
But they are not far. They are not the number. They're not the number 1 team. All right, Bill.
Boston Red Sox.
Please try again.
No, Boston Red Sox are not on that list. So no point
I
for
had
you.
the Yankees. Half point.
Yeah. No. All right, Pat. We got.
What was my guess at the Holy Grail that was so bad that you guys ripped me on? I missed right away. First one.
Oh,
Lou Piniella. Lou Piniella.
Yeah, we were talking about jerseys retired from the Reds. Before Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, Dave Concepcion, which, by the way, Pat guessed Dave Concepcion, which I thought was very impressive. Yeah, we went with Lou Piniella.
It was terrible.
Yeah,
all right, well, here I go again.
All right, what do you got, Pat?
Give me my Minnesota Twins.
But he's a fucking idiot, you know?
No.
What?
They did it back in 2016.
Wow. I skipped that year.
Yeah, I was gonna say not all that long ago. All right, wow, thank God we have a guest
We're just
here.
being nice to the
He's
guest.
making it
we're just
somewhat
being
exciting.
nice.
All right, Mike, back to you.
I'll take the Braves.
Ooh,
The
really?
Braves.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, this is only an hour and 15-minute podcast.
Yeah. Well, you start to think of every single team, and I'm like, no, they were terrible.
Apparently,
for a little
you
while.
haven't. Yeah.
San Francisco Giants.
Ooh, that's what I was gonna say. Good thing I didn't. Nice.
0 for 2. Dang.
Shoot. How about the Phillies?
Thank you.
I can't believe Mike did not guess Phillies. The Phillies is correct.
Are they really?
61. So
Wow.
they're the youngest of these. They did it the most recently, but
They've lost more games than any professional sports team ever.
Yeah, and they've only how many?
Wow.
Do they have 2 or 3 World Series? 3? 2 World Series. That is crazy to me that they don't have more. Wow.
Wow, I suck at this game.
Yeah, you do.
I think
Bill.
I know.
All right, the Yankees and the Phillies. All right, so I'm going to give
We
you.
got 3 left.
We have 3 left. 2 of these guys are 2 of the most iconic franchises in Major League Baseball.
The Red Sox.
Oh yeah.
Nice
Mike
job.
got the Dodgers. So that's one. All right.
He's wearing the jersey, for
And
goodness
then
sake.
another one is National League.
Cubs.
Oh,
No, good
no,
close.
Cubs.
Yeah.
You
Another
said iconic. I wouldn't have guessed Cubs.
The same division though as the Cubs.
I got it.
St. Louis.
Nice job.
Oh, Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh,
And then this one,
gosh.
guys. This team has never lost 100 games. Okay.
Indians.
Now they haven't been around. They started in the early 60s. Okay. So, but still, so they've gone as long as the Phillies, and they've gone more than 6 years.
Brewers.
I'll give you each one guess here. Brewers is a good guess, but no.
I was thinking the Pilots, Brewers.
Nets.
But he's a fucking idiot, you know?
It's a good guess because they started right around that time, but no. All right, Pat, you get one guess.
I think
This team, I think, is the least thought of team in all of Major League Baseball. I'm serious. Like, I never think of this team, even though they're in a huge city.
Blah blah blah.
Wow, you're good at this.
Yeah.
Is it
Huge
Rangers?
city. Oh yeah, Texas Rangers.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Oh man.
Can you
No,
believe
never
that?
guessed that?
No.
No.
Yeah, I could not believe that, but yeah. So, and then we talked about the Twins. We talked about the Phillies, the Mariners. Any idea when they last did
I
it?
feel like it's been a while, but
Define a while. They
longer than the Twins. I
did
guess
it.
before
It has been long.
2016.
They did it back in 2010. They did it back in
2010. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I skipped that year.
Yeah. So, all right. So, in our post edits debrief, we'll figure out if we want to keep this segment or not. Shoot us an email, listeners, at info@entertainmentsports.com if you think we should keep
Did
it.
I just
too.
win another trip?
Yeah, no, but you did win a half-eaten protein bar from 2022 in my desk. So I get that's an idea. All right, guys. Now that Be Our Guest is over, let's get into hot takes. Yes, that's right. It's time for Sandman Sports Hot Takes, brought to you by Mike's Hot Honey. The Honey Show Hot. But I feel bad because I just keep throwing Pat under the bus. And even though he didn't go to a strip club, I keep bringing strip clubs into it. So I'm gonna.
And I think we talked about our disdain for strip clubs this weekend.
I think that was you and me.
I know,
Pat.
Was that you and I? We were just like, we're not.
I never said that.
Yeah, that had been at the airport.
Yeah, we were.
I never
Yeah,
said
okay.
that.
Anyway.
All right, we're going to start this over. Yes, that's right. It's time for Sandman Sports Hot Takes, brought to you by Mike's Hot Honey. The honey's so hot, Pat tried to slide it $1 bill on Saturday night. I'm kidding. Wow, I'm really trying to get you in trouble.
I did
already,
put it
bud.
on my Brussels sprouts last night. It was good.
Nice.
It was very good.
There you go. We did not go to a strip joint, guys. I promise. They're called gentlemen's clubs now. All right, whether you want to keep your clothes on or yank them off, Mike's Hot Honey doesn't judge. So grab a bottle today at mikeshothoney.com or go to the honey aisle at your local grocery store. Trust us, you and your lap will be happy. All right, Pat, start us off, sir. It is hot take time.
Our sponsor has pulled out. They know due to the content. No, it was a good sports week here at Sovereignty Sports, right? Weren't we going to switch our name, Sovereignty Sports?
Yeah,
Which
that's right.
I heard he isn't running the Preakness, which is stupid because you shouldn't be allowed
That's dumb.
unless you have
Why?
unless your horse is dying of like horse cancer, you have to race. Like what is
horse cancer?
I don't know.
That,
what do horses get that like cause like, or is it fatigue? No, load management. What are they doing?
Load management.
Come on. The NBA is sneaking into the horse racing world, but I thought that was kind of stupid. But so then that horse is not going to race and try to get the Triple Crown, because isn't that the goal? I mean, isn't that the end goal, to be immortality and get the Triple Crown as a horse? But I was fortunate to catch a Reds game. Obviously, we talked about that, which nothing better than an outdoor baseball game. Being from Minnesota and going to the Metrodome throughout my youth, I love going to outdoor stadiums. So that was really cool. Thanks again, Eric. Scheffler was a beast and probably the most obvious pick to win ever. Bold call, Mr. Sanders.
Hopefully,
It's so ballsy, dude.
Hopefully this is the last week field tournament for a while, which I think it is. We got a couple good tournaments coming up, so that'll be nice. I mentioned I was texting you guys in the airport on the way home from Cincy. I was able to catch the Winnipeg Jets come back. That was unbelievable. Down 3-1. And I had just kept it on because I wanted to see when they were going to pull the goalie. I was like, there's no way this is over. But and then they did it. But that was crazy. And then basketball, you got these road underdogs winning, including my Timberwolves losing last night to the Warriors. But I am excited.
First time in NBA history.
All four.
All four won in the first game of the second round. That's crazy.
I am excited, and I wrote this in my prep yesterday before the game. But I am excited about my T-Wolves. But my son is starting to pay attention. My wife is asking me about basketball. So now this is how it works for us. This is how it works for Minnesota sports. My kid wants to watch the game, and usually when this happens, Minnesota sports teams are about to collapse. So I wrote yesterday in my notes, I'm like, don't sleep on the Warriors. They could be a sneaky pick, and it would be just like Minnesota sports teams, to lose this series. It's just how it is. And Mike, you were asking us the question: would we rather have a team that is pretty good almost every year, but not win the championship, or have terrible years, lean years, and then boom, all of a sudden they win the title? And my answer, because I'm from Minnesota, is that we always have these teams that in it, right? I mean, we got the Vikings having those heartbreaking losses in the NFC championships. The Twins seem to make the playoffs every year and lose to the Yankees. Our Wild, I've talked to you about the Wild. I mentioned this weekend about that stat that the Wild, of the last 8 out of 10 years, have lost in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah. So it really is. That's how Minnesota sports. That's how we work. So as soon as my wife was like, "Oh, are you guys gonna watch the basketball game?" I was like, "Oh, we're gonna lose." So anyway, by the way, that's also the same voice for Jamie, your wife. What? Are you guys gonna watch the sports games and stuff? It's kind of a generic, yeah. One
hey,
voice
we did say we're gonna do a battle. We're doing a battle of the sports women, aren't we? Jamie and Lauren we're gonna bring on.
Who knows last? Who knows last?
Yeah, exactly. That's coming.
Yeah, but that's it for me. What about you, Billy?
Yeah, you mentioned a ton of good ones. And without Steph Curry yesterday too. I mean, he went out in the second quarter. I was surprised that Draymond Green. I don't know if you guys were watching the game. I was actually watching when Steph went out. I mean, Draymond Green proceeded to hit like 3 threes in a row and a couple buckets. It was like, holy cow, where is this coming from?
It was such an odd game. It was the weirdest. It was such a bad game.
I still actually think the T-Wolves are going to win comfortably. I don't know why I'm saying that. I have not watched a lot of NBA hoops, but
we are Minnesota.
I still love that team.
Yeah.
How about the Warriors being the number 1 rated defensive team since the Jimmy Butler trade? I was stunned by that.
Wow.
I just haven't watched enough NBA hoops this year. But first of all, I was going to shout out my daughter, Sid. It was her birthday Monday, turned 20. So she's no longer a teenager. She's just a great kid. I love her to pieces. It's so hard to believe she's not a teenager. So shout out to Sydney. Also, I've never been a bigger Denver Nuggets fan in my entire life, and it's time for them to repay me for 1994. Rest in peace, Dikembe Mutombo. But I have the image of him doing this seared into my brain, celebrating with the ball above his head. We've seen it 1 million times in Seattle. Denver Nuggets, if you're listening, go beat the Thunder. For every Seattle sports fan, please, thank you. They got one done, and that was just awesome to see last night. What a huge shot from Aaron Gordon at the end of the game. And I mean, I actually jumped off my couch. I don't remember being that excited about an NBA basketball game since 2009 when the Sonics left. So go Denver. Also, I just have a shout out to Washington State lawmakers. Wake the F up. Legalize sports wagering, not just in tribal casinos, but out in Ohio. Eric was on a work call, and I was sitting in his car, and we were off to maybe get Pat at the airport, I think.
We are, yeah.
And I fired up ESPN Bet. I fired up ESPN Bet on my phone, put a little money in there, and just had a ball all weekend. Just little bets here or there, little parlays. It's ridiculous in today's day and age that we cannot do this in the state of Washington. It's so dumb. Wake up. It's so infuriating. And good news, thanks to the old Winnipeg Jets comeback, old Billy Sanders hit a beauty parlay.
Did you really?
That I can't cash because I live in Washington State. So it was crazy because, Eric, when I went to the airport, I had to log my account into Kentucky.
Yeah,
because you're actually in Kentucky, so it was
but
Ohio.
Kentucky still will allow you. You could still do bets in Kentucky, but
yeah, it was just crazy. I'm like, switch my account. I guess now I'm in Kentucky. So anyway, that's just my plea to the lawmakers of Washington State. I mean, it's just idiotic. And then the last thing I told you guys before we got live here that I was gonna do a little rant on the old Frontier Airlines.
Yeah,
and so here I go. The plane got me home. The planes, because I went into Denver, then Seattle. But here's the thing. It is ridiculous in today's day and age. I just ranted about no legalized sports betting. But how do you not have in-seat power and Wi-Fi on an airplane? It should be illegal. It should be illegal. You cannot do that to passengers because people are savages when they're in an airport or an airplane. The kid sitting next to me on the flight from Cincinnati to Denver was sweating booze out of his body. He'd been at the Derby all weekend. He was hurting so bad. And I thought he was going to puke the entire flight to Denver. Somehow the kid hung in there. He was so miserable. I mean, like Pat times 10 on Sunday. It was crazy. But Frontier's app sucks. Doesn't work. When I checked in at the Cincinnati airport, none of their technology from Frontier, apparently is what the people said at the gate, was working. So they couldn't see our reservations. So I'm sitting there thinking, pretty much anybody can get on this airplane right now. I mean, if you got past TSA, you jump on the airplane. Nobody cares. Frontier doesn't care. And then it's just the littlest things about Frontier, about how, your bag has to fit within the tiny little thing that doesn't matter because if you can throw it in the overhead bin or whatever. And then people are just freaking out over the fact that they have to pay $99 to get their bag checked into Frontier when you could do it on the app for half that price, I think, but the app didn't work. So then they were trying to say, well, you got to pay $99 because the app's broken. Are you kidding me? I mean, what Eric's talked about customer service on this podcast a zillion times. So your app's broken. So now you're going to charge people twice as much. But then when they went to actually run the people's card payments, it wouldn't work. Of course not, because Frontier is going to Frontier. So now they're just saying, well, we change our mind. You can bring whatever luggage you want onto the airplane. The whole thing, it was just this whole deal. It was just absolute insanity. And I'm just thankful that the airplane got me home so I could record episode 38 of this podcast and hang out with you guys one more time. I was saying my goodbyes at Bierman's house on Sunday because I thought I was going to die.
You're nervous, yeah.
That's it. My rant is over. You can edit out whatever you want.
Well, we're going to have to edit the whole thing because Frontier is sponsoring our next segment. So
we'd like to introduce our new sponsor.
We'd like to
Sovereignty
introduce
Sports.
Sovereignty Sports.
Oh, man. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you letting me ramble and rant there, but wow. I will never fly Spirit or Frontier ever again the rest of my life. That's it.
Thank you, Bill. So, Mike, you have 34 seconds for your hot take. Go.
Three things. First, I also want to mention Scheffler, even though no one else was in that tournament, 32 birdies in 4 rounds. 32 birdies or better, Eagles. 44% of the holes under par.
Oh my God,
I don't care what
are you
course you're on.
serious?
Yeah, you can't do that in miniature golf. You can't do that anywhere. Amazing. And minus 31, winning by 8 strokes for $1.8 million practically in his sleep is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, all right. Number 2, this is a month old, but obviously I haven't been around, and I want to share with your million plus viewers.
Yes.
Anyone who knows me knows this is my biggest pet peeve in sports. Opening weekend in baseball, why teams in cold weather have homestands drives me insane.
Yep.
There are eight teams with retractable roofs or domes. We have teams in Florida. We have teams in Texas. We have teams in California. Yet the White Sox are home. The Royals are home. Washington is home. The Yankees against the Brewers, who can close the roof. They're playing in New York, not in Milwaukee. It drives me crazy every year. And, of course, the last weekend of the season, we're going to do the same thing. Yankees and Red Sox are going to be home in 30 degrees. The A's are going to be home in their tiny little freezing ballpark in Sacramento. The Cubs are going to be home with winds of 40 miles an hour and 27 degrees and sleet. I don't get it. The Angels were on the road. The Braves were on the road. I said the Brewers were on the road. Makes no sense. Every year I have this rant. Drives me bananas. Just put the warm teams and the retractable roof, closed dome people home the first week, and then we get on with the season. All right. My third one, and this is especially for Eric. Michigan coach Moore, right? Sharon Moore.
Yeah.
He gave himself a self-imposed 2-game ban this upcoming season for whatever his bad behavior was. But it's not the first 2 games of the season. It's games 3 and 4 against Western Michigan and Nebraska. He has to do game 2. It's Oklahoma, and it's all his alma mater. So he did bad. He's going to suffer 2 games, but he's going to pick the 2 games that have least impact on his life and his team. This is like when Major League Baseball gives a starting pitcher a 4-game suspension starting the day after they start a game. It's ridiculous. If you're going to try to get ahead of the NCAA with your self-imposed penalty, then it's the next 2 games, which would be games 1 and game 2, not games 3 and 4, not one Tuesday practice. Suck it up. Take your 2 games or don't. I hope the NCAA comes back and adds on games 1 and 2 because he deserves it. I don't even know what he did, but he deserves it for just picking games 3 and 4. All right, I'm good.
Nice.
Dude, that is how it's done. Look at Mike Paston bringing the hot takes, dude. That was well done. And I will have to say, the Cincinnati Reds always open at home because they were the first team ever, and they used to be. They would play a game before any other team. They're always the first game home team. Now it's just whatever, but they always play home game. But it is always cold. Not always, but most times it is. It's cold, drizzly, yucky weather. That's a great point, Mike.
And there's 162 games. You think they could shuffle things around with 162 games? Yeah.
Every year I make the schedule for them, but they don't. They actually have a screening order. I'm not allowed to share it.
You're not.
Oh boy! All right, yeah, well done, sir. Very well done, Mike. All right, a couple here, guys. I love the Kentucky Derby. I talked about it here in Hot Takes last week. The tradition, the spectacle, the chaos of betting on a horse with a cool name. We even bought Sandman. This year didn't pan out, but still, always a great event to watch. Except NBC completely botched the final stretch. During the most important 40 seconds of the race, the part where, someone actually wins the race, they didn't show any of the horse names on screen. Not one. They just showed horses running, no leaderboard, no updates. So I'm standing there yelling like an idiot, "Let's go Sandman!" I had no clue if our horse was second, eighth, or last. I mean, it was a total swing and miss by NBC. This is the most watched horse race in America. You guys have one job. Show us the names. That's it. In the home stretch, please just show us the names. That's all you have to do. Derby Day was still a blast, but NBC, you guys got to do better. You took all the drama, you made it confusing, and I'm not happy about that. All right. Hot take number 2. Gregg Popovich, guys. Pop just stepped down after 29 seasons as head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, the longest tenure of any coach in the history of major U.S. sports. Let that sink in. That is, wow. He holds the record for most wins in NBA history, 1,422 regular season victories, 5 NBA championships. He coached over 2,000 games, had 22 consecutive seasons with a winning record. That's more than Phil, Red, and Pat Riley ever did. And he built a franchise identity that spanned 3 decades. The Spurs under Pop had a winning record against every other team in the NBA. He coached stars like Duncan, Parker, Kawhi, but he also made legends out of role players. He led the U.S. men's national team to Olympic gold. He won Coach of the Year 3 times. He outlasted dynasties, world changes, and eras. Through it all, he was consistent. He was brutally honest, thoughtful, occasionally a little surly, always respected, though. Popovich isn't just the winningest coach ever. He's the standard, guys. Enjoy the front office, Pop. The game won't be the same without you. All right. Well, boys, it is now time to get into our Stone Cold Lock segment. And this week we're heading to Paston's home state for the Truist Championship in Philadelphia. It's normally in Charlotte at Quail Hollow, but they moved it since the PGA will be in Quail in a few weeks. But before we get into our picks, let's look at how we did last week. After a slow start from all 3 of us, things have started to heat up, guys. Last 6 weeks or so. Sandman nailed the winner with his pick of Scheffler, while a lot of talent picking him. Anyway, he gets 3 points. Got 2 points. I got 2 points for Nick Spieth and Burns, both in the top 10. And Pat got 1 for Burnsy. So the standings now are Bierman 10, Pat 8, Bill 7. All right, so we'll get into this week's golf picks. I have a feeling Mike is going to crush these. Are you a big golf guy, by the way, Mike?
To the extent I play Sandman pools, I am. But other than that, not at all.
Okay, and do you do you play golf or not?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, just a reminder, we're going to pick 3 guys.
Last time John Elway offered me a ride, I said, no, absolutely not.
Oh, too soon.
Not riding in the back of your car.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow. I love it, man. Paston is bringing it today. Paston is
looking a little shady.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to pick 3 guys that we think will finish in the top 10. 2 can be any players you want, but the third has to be a dark horse with plus 10,000 odds or worse. All right, Pat, kick us off.
All right. First one, I'm going with Colin Morikawa. I think it's pronounced Morikawa. Anyway, Morikawa, all he does is hit fairways, which is important in golf. So you want to do that. He just does not miss fairways. So I like that this week. The other thing, as I was doing some research, because I did a little research, guys, believe it or not, on this one, is they talk a lot. Yeah, they talk a lot. A lot of people were talking about bent grass, and I don't know bent grass from Poana to. Give me another one. What's another one? Moana. No, that's a good one. Yeah. Anyway, but the word Poa. Yeah, the word on the street is that if you're guys that are wow, look at Bill, keep going.
I'm an agronomist. You guys didn't know this.
Yeah. But word on the streets is that you're looking for players who like to historically play well on bent grass, and so I went with Victor Hovland. He also has a history of playing well in the Northeast. So give me Victor Hovland. And then my long shot at plus 15,000 is a native of New York, likes the bent grass venues, and he's had a rough year, but it's a small field and he could make it happen. So, and he also did well at the Valero a few weeks ago. So he has signs of hope. I'm going with Cameron Young for my long shot last week.
Nice.
Nice. Love it.
I'm on a pitch count after my rant during hot take, so I'm going to make this quick. And I am not too proud, as you guys know. Scotty Scheffler picked last week, win. The winner this week is going to be Rory McIlroy. He is the chalk of the chalk. And look, the guy's wearing a green jacket. He's the best player on the planet at the moment. I think you could argue him or Scheffler.
Yep.
And Scheffler's not in the field, so give me Rory.
And I think
plus
we
500
said,
to win.
we said if you're in last place, you can pick Scheffler or McIlroy, and you're in last place.
That's right.
Yeah,
that was a good rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, good rule. I'll be on Scheffler next week, unless I guess get out of last place this week. My second pick is actually Andrew Novak. Eric correctly picked him to win at the Zurich Partners event a couple weeks ago. He's just been playing great. He's been in the mix lately. A few top 5 finishes in his last 3 starts. So the guy has played great in April, and I just look for him to keep it rolling. He's you get pretty good odds too. I love the top 10 play here. He's plus 375 to get into the top 10. That's pretty good value for a guy who's been in such good form. And then my long shot is a kid named Ryan Gerard. If you don't know this kid, keep an eye out. Plus 12,500. He's a North Carolina kid, and he's just been in a great run of form lately, and I look for him to hopefully sneak into the top 10 for me this week. Mike, what do you got?
All right. The easy one, Xander Schauffele. It's just time for him to win the tournament this year, and without Scotty in there, I think it's his turn. Easy pick. My next one, a little bit of a 30-1 shot, Corey Connors. Top 8 in 4 of his last 6 events. Currently his highest ranking at 21. And I learned that he was on the golf team at Kent State with Mackenzie Hughes and Taylor Pendrith.
Wow.
Bill's new favorite golfer.
A lot of Canadians.
And,
a lot of Canucks.
Yeah, Taylor. Too soon, Mike. Mike, too soon to bring that up.
People with talent went to Kent State? Holy shit.
Isn't that crazy?
That's the most
You wouldn't think of that. He's also from Canada, and it's a little colder here in Philly than Florida, and he's probably good at golfing in the cold. My long shot, Max Gracerman, RBC 27th, Masters 32nd, Arnold Palmer 22nd, Cognizant 11th, Genesis 24th. Very unpredictable, but when he does put it together, he can compete. He's either going to miss the cut by 10 strokes, or he's going to be in the top 10, maybe even winning this thing. He turns 30 this month. He's from New Jersey. Golfers don't come from the mid-Atlantic states at all. And he's a really smart guy. He went to Duke. He can put it together, and he'll stay cool under pressure if he actually makes it to Sunday.
Yeah.
Nice. Kid can putt.
Do they have cuts? Do they do cuts this week? Or this is a signature one, right? So they just keep playing?
Yeah,
no cut this week.
Yeah. Make it till Sunday.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so definitely looked at the course here, the bent grass, the lots of trees. You gotta be accurate off the tee. You gotta have good long irons. So there's a few I really like. I'm gonna start with Patrick Cantlay. Kind of similar to what I said about Scheffler last week. I just feel like Cantlay is close to notching a win on the tour this season. He's been close at times. He's played fairly well this season. I like the course for his game. He's made 15 consecutive cuts, so he's always kind of hanging around. It just feels to me like a good spot for him. Similarly, went back and forth on 2 guys here, but I'm going to go with my new BFF here and Colin Morikawa. He is he's one of the best iron guys out there. I think that's going to be important. He has 3 top 10 finishes this year, including 2 number 2s. He's 3rd in total strokes gained, right behind Scotty and Rory. I did think about Russell Henley here too, but I'm going to go with Colin. And then for my dark horse, I'll go with Thomas Deirdre, because why the heck not? He's 44th in strokes gained, and that's all I got. The rest of his stats kind of suck, but what do you expect with these dark horses? They all suck. This is tough. So we are riding with the Stormin' German. That's my new nickname for him. So
he's French.
Really?
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He is.
Thomas Deirdre is not French.
Just like, I would like to play the golf course, yeah?
I'm pretty sure he is.
I'm
pretty sure he's edited out.
He's Belgian. He's Belgian.
Oh, dang it.
I was closer. Sherman's way closer.
Right in between. Right in between.
I know. I'm kidding. All right. Belgian. The Belgian.
He speaks French.
The storm in Belgium. That sounds even better. There you go. Oh shit. Paston's really wondering what the hell he got himself into. All
Yeah,
right.
he's like, I thought I won, not lost.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, it is top 5 time. And, we often talk about the best or our favorites when it comes to top 5, but leave it to the Philly guy, Mike Paston, to go all negative on us. We let him pick the top 5 this week, and he chooses. It actually is a great topic. It's going to be fun. We're going with the worst big cities that we've ever visited. So this has to be a bigger type city. Can't be small podunk town, but a bigger city. And I do think this is a good one. I just got to visit a great city in Seattle. You guys came to Cincinnati. Wait a minute. I hope that trip didn't inspire you to choose this topic, Mike. You're not going to be trashing the Queen City on our pod here, are you? All right, boys, let's get into it. So we'll do least favorite American cities. And Pat, you'll start us off, and then we'll go Bill, Mike, and then me.
Yeah,
5 and 4.
I generally don't hate going anywhere, so for me this was difficult because
it's a tough one.
Yeah,
You're such a
I just
just
like,
a nice
I just
guy,
like being
dude.
out of the
You're so
house,
lovely.
and getting out
Yeah.
and seeing the world. So this was a tough one, and I thought maybe Disney, but that's not really a city. So my first one, I'm gonna go with Minneapolis. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Yes, I know. And sorry,
I was not
Minnesota. Look,
expecting
Stunner.
that.
I spent the week working down on Lake Street in Hennepin, and it was, as my coworker said, he said it's like they let out the Walking Dead here. There's so many crazies, and it's just the problem with me. This topic too is a lot of my hate for cities comes back to like just how rough it is in some of these cities. Like we just had a 14-year-old kid who was shot the other night in Minneapolis, and you just it scares the crap out of me. Kids that have guns, and you're down there working, and it's just I never want to go to Minneapolis. It's dirty. People are just look like they're crazy everywhere, and like you're trying to drive down the street and people don't even care. They're just walking right in front of your car, and it's just like the law is lawless out there in Minneapolis.
Those people are from Philadelphia,
and I don't.
They're not from Minneapolis.
So anyway, I mean, I don't want to sound like an uppity little bitch, but I just don't like poor people. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's sad. It is a sad state of affairs, and we need to do something to help these people out because it is rough down there. But Minneapolis is always kind of it's always kind of irked me. And I'm from St. Paul, so anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. My number 4 is Omaha, Nebraska. I feel I feel like we should build a wall around all of Nebraska and put all our criminals inside into a lawless flat wasteland and just let them figure it out.
Games.
Yes, but that would be Nebraska. So Omaha, Nebraska. Just
there you go.
It was just kind
I
of
love
gross.
that.
Jeez.
Hopefully Schwartzbach's not listening to this episode.
Or maybe it was Lincoln. I don't know. Somewhere in Nebraska. Just give me Nebraska. Is Nebraska actually a state?
Yeah, do they have 200,000 plus people in the entire state?
I'll take he's bigger than the
my
entire
number
state
4
of
is Nebraska City, Nebraska. It's
there
terrible
you go.
there.
All right.
Guys, this is almost like the helmet episode. I'm really gonna struggle.
Oh no!
With it. Yeah, this could be.
God.
This could be as
At least
bad.
we have Mike to blame on this one.
Is Mike taking my spot?
This is just a tryout. That's what we're
If
calling
you
it.
keep making selections like Nebraska City, Nebraska, yes.
I'm still stunned by Minneapolis. I actually really like Minneapolis.
Murderapolis? Oh no, terrible.
Yeah, I like it down there.
I mean, it has
cool
some
downtown.
cool spots, but it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
Well, I will try to one up your scary city with my number 5, which is Tijuana, Mexico. Have any of you guys been to Tijuana?
No.
I went as a kid for the first time. We're down in San Diego. I believe we were down there going to Disneyland, headed down to San Diego, went across
You go from
the
Disney
border.
to Tijuana? Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Well, I mean, we were
kids,
in Anaheim.
come on,
right?
hop in the
Yeah.
car. We're going to Disney. And then just
I don't know why my parents wanted to go to Tijuana. I don't know.
What kind of business does your dad have going on in Tijuana?
Yeah.
We just gotta
Well,
gotta make a quick little stop.
my parents were hippies. I
Yeah.
mean, so I don't know. Love them to death. But boy, that city was the scariest experience for a however old kid I was, early teens, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. But I remember a few different memories. One, there were so many people when you cross the border, just absolutely like a mob coming at you. Taxi, 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 taxi. And then chiclets, the little like kids
Yep.
selling gum chiclets. And then they also had chicken shit cigarettes. Have you guys ever seen that? I actually looked it up. I wasn't misremembering that. That was actually a thing. They had chicken shit cigarettes. Not sure what that's all about. But anyway, just a scary, scary time. I did not enjoy it. I don't
Yeah.
enjoy anything about the open market, being accosted by people trying to sell you stuff. And then I remember kissing the soil when we got back into the United States.
Hey, Katy, you and Katy Perry.
My mom would confirm. Yeah, right. Exactly when she got back from the space trip. Anyway, so Tijuana is my number 5. My number 4, I'm going local with my number 4. That's Tacoma, Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a little bit older ranking, but growing up, there was something called the Tacoma aroma. And when you would drive down I-5, you would get this strong whiff. As soon as you got hit Fife and turned into and heading southbound on I-5, you'd get this really pungent smell. And it was from the paper and pulp mills down there. And boy, it was strong. It was nasty. And then 80s and 90s, very crime riddled, the Hilltop neighborhood, tough, really tough area in the Pacific Northwest. What I will say is, though, it is much better now. I mean, absolutely changed completely from when I went to law school down there at the UPS law school, which became Seattle Law School. Um, Rough there in the mid to late 90s, much better now. But I'm just going to highlight one more story, and that was I was at Pinch's Deli grabbing a sandwich, and guy came up to me, appeared to be homeless, asking for $20. I said, no, I don't have $20. I went in, grabbed my sandwich. On my way out, businessman, he's renegotiating the 20. Now he just wants 5. But he's also going to put hands on me at this point. And I turned, and you guys, I kicked that guy so hard, squarely in the balls. I can still feel that feeling on my right foot. Like I
Oh my
hit
God.
him square, and he went down. And so Tacoma's just always had a little bit of that edge to me. Again, beautiful city, very much improved. But that's my 5 and 4.
Wow.
Paston, how about you, bud?
I got that right foot feeling when we were in that bathtub. I didn't want to bring it up before. Just saying.
Yeah.
And
I don't blame
Tijuana
you.
being in the U.S., I don't know, Bill, but that's all right.
I was a little short on the valet tip at the restaurant. I'm glad I didn't ask Bill for a few bucks. Holy shit.
You don't want to mess with me. You don't want to mess
Number
with me.
5, Baltimore. Camden Yards is nice. Aquarium's nice. There's nothing else to do there.
I
They talk
thought about
about this
Baltimore.
Inner Harbor thing and all. There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing to do in Baltimore. And Pat, Minneapolis, nothing crime-wise compared to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've
it's an
seen The
ugly-
Wire. Actually, I haven't.
Yeah, it's
Great show.
a bad, dangerous town, and I don't know. It looks good in the brochure, but there's nothing there. All right, I'm not going to pick on Cincinnati, even though it has a self-esteem problem by putting their airport in Kentucky. I don't understand it. Makes no sense. But whatever.
Bizarre.
But nearby, number 4 is Columbus, Ohio. It's the 14th largest city in the country and the largest in Ohio. But if you ask anyone outside of Ohio, the largest city, they will tell you it's either Cincinnati or Cleveland. Nobody knows anything about Columbus.
Like the armpit
It's
of
the third
Ohio.
most populous capital in the country. And again, no one has a clue about it. And I know why. It's shocking. And my Columbus is the one by Ohio State, by the campus. Dirty, filthy, doesn't feel like a campus area. High hotel rates for no good reason. Probably all the businesses that are there. But anytime I'm driving through and I have to stop there, it's 3 times the price of staying anywhere else. makes no sense. They have one team, the Blue Jackets, no football, no baseball, no basketball, 14th largest city. I don't get it. I don't get it. Ohio State's is massive, beautiful, except for the people that go there, beautiful campus, but the town next to it, Columbus, Ohio. It has no
Dude,
real
you
value.
are welcome back to
Yeah,
this podcast
wow. Killing it.
anytime you want, buddy.
Killing
Dude,
it.
I love it. I thought about Columbus, but did not go with it. But my number 5, I have never really been a fan of this city. I'm going with Los Angeles. My parents lived in Irvine for a few years when I was in college. So I spent some time in Orange County during the summers. Weather's great, beaches are nice, and yeah, there's no shortage of non-ugly women, as Pat likes to call them. But traffic is brutal. I would say a lot of rude people. But when I was there for the Super Bowl a few years ago for the Bengals, what just was so hard to get over was just the homeless population. I mean, it is a big problem there, and I pray that they figure it out because it was truly sad and depressing to see the number of people that are living in just really bad situations. So it's hard for me to get past that. So I'm saying LA is my number 5. Number 4, people always say the city's a lot like Cincinnati. I don't see it. I hate it. Pittsburgh, number 4. I mean, first of all, they have the Steelers, so there you go. My in-laws are actually from there, and my wife was born there, so I feel a little bad saying this. I do not like it. Primanti Brothers, come on, it sucks. Give me Skyline all day. I don't like the downtown. Roads are a mess. Weather is freaking miserable. The way people talk drives me nuts. Yins, what the fuck is yins? Oh,
What is that?
What is that? Yeah.
it's what they say. It's literally what they say. Like y'all, but it's yins, I think. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
never heard
Mike
it.
knows.
Yins
'cause
going to the
Mike is
baseball
from
game?
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Yins
Yins?
going? Huh.
That's weird.
Whew. Okay. Number 3 and 2, Pat.
All right. Well, and I hate to stick with the main reason why I don't like cities is just the poverty and but kind of like Tijuana, Bill, Guatemala City is capital of Guatemala, and it is poor. There's so much poverty. It's so hard to watch. And then when you're there and you're white as toast, like me, and obviously not from there, you are just like you're saying, people coming up and, hey, want to buy some chicle, some gum, and all that stuff. And so, yeah, that's a rough place. And then my number 2, similar, St. Louis. We did some work down in Creve Coeur.
St. Louis is
Sorry,
bad.
St. Louis
Yeah.
Syndicate, but I do have some work down there this summer. So maybe the St. Louis Syndicate, we can meet up. They can show me the highlights of St. Louis.
So yeah.
But I've never had so many people tell me, oh, don't go that way. Don't go over there. Don't drive down that way. And I was just like, wow, where are we? And then, people were just kind of not that friendly. And sorry, St. Louis Syndicate, but, maybe you guys can change my mind when I come down this summer. Yeah, so those are my 3 too. But again, I hate that it all kind of wraps around poverty and crime, and it's hard to see.
None of us are blaming
I know.
poor people. It's just that the situation that we put so many people in with the cost of everything. I mean, is Eric mentioned my number 3, Los Angeles, and the biggest thing, it's a concrete jungle. Traffic's horrible, but it's so expensive that lots of people can't afford anything. And so they end up in situations where you get into all the different things that Pat's mentioning with his cities, which is crime and drugs and homelessness and it's
my number one. My
it's
number
scary.
1 won't follow that same theme though. So,
Yeah, it's LA is my number 3, and number 2 is Reno, Nevada. And I don't know if you guys have been to Reno lately, but I remember going there after turning 21, and it was nicer. I skied Squaw Valley. It just so much beauty, natural beauty with Lake Tahoe and the Sierra Nevadas. But as time has worn on, I feel like the California legalization of casinos has kind of taken a lot of the luster from Reno, and especially the downtown section, which is just absolutely it's awful. It's abysmal. I showed up there with a couple $100 at a craps table, and guys were treating me like I was a whale. I mean, oh, you can't go. Like, I think we had a good roll, and I'm ready to cash out. No, please, please don't go, sir. Please don't go. I mean, it's just depressing. And so, LA 3, Reno number 2. Mike, what do you got?
Well, speaking of poverty, Bill showed up to the Kentucky Derby auction with $5. Just saying.
2.
I'm still dealing with that. $5. Two.
Yeah. $2. Yeah.
Wow. Anyway,
I thought there was a
4.
cash machine in there. I really did. I really thought there was. Sorry, Eric.
All right. Yeah. Work with that. Number 3, Indianapolis.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have three things going for it. Caitlin Clark, Hinkle Fieldhouse, and Shapiro's Deli. Best deli in the country. Other than that, boring as hell. I've been there 3 times, all for the Final Four. The games are over Saturday night at about midnight, and I'm like supposed to stay there, and I hit the road. That's how I end up in Cincinnati half the time, or even down in Lexington, Kentucky, because I just can't take it. The next game's not for 48 hours, and there's absolutely nothing to do in Indianapolis. Number 2, and Pat mentioned this sort of, it's Orlando. It's in Florida, but not on the beach. It's the 4th most visited city purely because of the airport. Disney World is not in Orlando. It's 21 miles away. So we need to get over the fact that we think Orlando is actually a happening place. It's an airport. That's it. It's wetlands, it's lakes, it's swamps. It's not a real city. If it was a real Florida city, it would be on the beach like every other Florida city. Makes no sense. Not to mention in sports, they have one team, the Orlando Magic, no championships. And that, back to my other theme, they have 4 players from the University of Michigan on that team, which explains a lot. They've retired one number in all these years, Shaq, who didn't do much for them. I don't get it. It's not a happy place. Mickey Mouse doesn't live there. It's a big airport. Little kids go through there. Half of them are crying. Orlando pretty much sucks.
Nice.
Wow. Mike is
That
bringing
awesome.
it. Nice job.
That is awesome. All right, I'm going back out to the West Coast. I get it. There's a nice bridge, there's a cool prison island, and you can ride a freaking cable car. But I do not like San Francisco. Once you get past the tourist stuff, the traffic's brutal, parking is a joke. It's so freaking expensive. And they also have a massive homeless crisis. They got a bad crime problem there. Don't leave anything in your car. On second thought, don't leave your car. Period. That city is scary. So San Francisco, number 2 or number 3. Number 2, I went to the city years ago for work. I stayed in a crappy hotel near the airport for 3 days. I'm not kidding. I never saw the sun one time. Clouds, wind, sadness. I drove around this city, probably the whole city. I never once saw a nice house or neighborhood at all. Like, that was nice. I'm talking about Buffalo, New York. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Cleveland, which easily could have made this list, but it has fewer people and no Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So downtown is forgettable. Unless you're really into wing sauce and wind chill, I don't know why you would ever go to that city. So that's my number 2.
Nice. Look, I'm gonna throw out my number 1 as Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and I have no idea if it's 200,000 people plus or not. No,
it's not.
Look,
no, it's not.
It's got to be close. Whatever. What are you gonna do?
No.
Find me? All right. Anyhow, I had to pick some Wisconsin city. So, and I actually love Wisconsin, and I love Wisconsin people, but this city has nothing going on. There isn't a strong downtown area. Not enough bars for a Wisconsin town. Like, they aren't drunk enough. And Wisconsin is known for having their pubs. There's no meat raffles, no camo jackets. There's no faded early 20th century advertisements on the brick walls of buildings. It's just, it's where all these other cities in Wisconsin are drunken paradises. Eau Claire is nothing. No good restaurants. Stupid city. And
It
Where is
has it has 69,000 people.
close enough. What are you gonna do? Fire me? This is
Was that
a
from the
volunteer.
2000 census?
Yeah. I could again. This is the helmets. This and the helmets were just two of the toughest ones I've ever done. But that's it. Bill, what do you got for your one?
It's not going to surprise you guys what my number one is. It's on the West Coast.
Portland?
In Oregon.
No, I love Portland, Eugene, Oregon. And do I really need to say why? I mean, there's just nothing going for this town. They don't have anything. I mean, it's a speed bump on the way to California is all it is. And it's just, I saw Dave Matthews there when it was when my friend Rachel took me to a show, and now I'm thinking it was it Toad the Wet Sprocket, Big Head Todd and the Monsters. I always get it wrong. And just this little headliner Dave Matthews band that you'd think that was cool, but it was in Eugene, so I never mentioned it to anybody. There's just nothing else to say. They don't have anything. They literally don't have anything. And it was 219,000 people, so I do follow the rules with my number one pick as well. And that was the 2020 census.
America. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like yeah.
Eugene cannot be on this list because Animal House was filmed there.
Yeah.
And therefore, it can
the
never be on
betas,
a worst
and my buddy Jeff Hansen, shout out, he's a beta from Eugene. But I met a lot of his fraternity brothers. They're all super cool dudes. And the tailgates are fun and that. But the town, nah. The city just doesn't have anything going for it.
All right.
Mike, what's your number one?
I'm from Philadelphia, so my number one has to be Dallas. Ninth largest city in America, but San Antonio's better, Houston's better, Austin's way better. Their claim to fame is that JFK was killed there. I don't get it. They've got museums, they have tours. It's the number one tourist attraction. Someone getting shot out in the open it's crazy. Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in sports in the world. Why? 30 years since they won a championship. Cowboys fans act like they're relevant. They're not. Again, 30 years. The most annoying fans voted again this year in all the sports. The whole town's annoying. There's nothing to do there. It's just a bad town. I don't get it. If you're going to go to Texas, if you have to go to Texas, San Antonio's cool. Houston's okay. Austin's fun. There's no reason to be in Dallas. If you are there and you have to get out, Oklahoma's only a few miles away. Head north for safety. You'll be okay. It's just a bad place. And there will be another 30 years or until Jerry Jones dies that they can win something.
Wow.
So Dallas is number one. Not even close.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. Just what I thought, and I was considering making this the Eric and Mike show from going forward. Paston throws this just idiotic take here on his number one top five. Dallas, are you freaking kidding me? Dallas is one of the best cities in America.
No.
Freaking went to high school there, love Dallas, everything about it. In fact, if I had to move from Cincinnati and I had to pick one city in America to move to outside Cincinnati, I'd pick Dallas. So,
well, then you better not win the
it's
contest.
Bierman, it's your Pittsburgh. It's your Pittsburgh pick.
You know what? I guess, but it gets even better. So my number one is a city Mike's like, if you gotta go to Texas, my number one is Houston. I freaking hate this city. It really starts with how hot and humid it is. I mean, it is literally the worst city to go to in the summer. I can't explain how bad it is. It's just so humid. I'm sure I know there's some nice, wealthy places there, but there are a lot of sketchy areas too. And I feel like I've always in those. I was one time at a younger job. My company put me up at a Motel 6 in some gang infested Drugville near downtown, and I'm sitting there on a Sunday afternoon. March Madness was going on, and sitting there on a Sunday, and I just sat on my bed trying to watch the games. I could not enjoy it. I had no money. I mean, I was so broke at this time, but this was when Priceline was still a thing. I'm like, I have to. So I put like $30 or $40 on some hotel that I knew I was going to have to pay out of my own pocket. Got this like 4-star awesome hotel like in the northern suburbs. I was like, all right, now I like that part of Houston. I like that part. But no, I've been there 4 or 5 times. The airport sucked, the traffic sucked, the sports teams suck. If I never go back to Houston, I'll be just fine. So, come on, Paston. Jeez. All right, guys. So before we wrap
Mike,
things up,
you were
though,
doing so well until then.
You were
killing it,
and you
were like, almost made it to the end.
You were almost there.
The Philly came out. The Philly came out.
Thank goodness they're going to edit that.
I should have warned you in advance.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. All right, Bill. You got anything pools wise that you want to share?
Yeah, when you guys are watching this, listening to this, have your eyes on next week because we have PJ Championship, Quail Hollow, so much fun stuff coming. The usual suspects, Calcutta, Survivor Pick 5, Top 5, Sevens. We've also got something that I wanted to mention, at least in the Calcutta realm, and that is we got a WNBA Calcutta. So,
awesome.
this is just not something that we would have done in the past. And I'm just really excited to represent women's sports and put that out there as well. I think the WNBA keeps getting more and more exciting. Caitlin Clark, obviously a huge factor there. So go put a few bucks down on the Indiana Fever. It should be fun. And it'll be interesting to see how Sandman Nation shows up for this one. So really looking forward to that. And then my last call to action, besides the PGA Championship stuff, is please go sign up for Guillotine Golf. If you haven't tried it, we've got one that's open right now. I think we have 4 spots left. Would love to have that one fill up. It starts next week at the PGA Championship. So really enjoying that format. People have had great feedback about it. So we'd love to have you guys jump in.
I love it. When does the WNBA Calcutta end, or when does it start?
It's actually next week on Friday night because the season starts that Saturday. So you'll have the PGA Championship first round will be in the books, and then that deadline will be later that
That's
evening
great.
on Thursday. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Or sorry, I think it's on Friday evening.
Okay,
right. Yeah, second round will be done.
All right. Well, CME Nation, it has been another great show. And massive thanks to our special guest, Mike Paston, for joining us today. Great having you, buddy. You're welcome back anytime. But sadly, it is time to exit CME Sports. Quickly, before we do, a few reminders where to find us: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at CME Sports. And, of course, our website, entercmnsports.com. Have a great weekend, CMA Nation. We'll see you next week. But until then, peace out and take care.
Good luck.